WRC Safari Rally 2025. Revisha and feel the roar.
Agatin chitap kalenjin eng wii tugul ole imitei itagat eng logoiwekab emet chebo saisiechu kong'ete Kass TV. Kainenyu ko Chesankaro Sirma ak kabarastaindet nekimite tuwai eng oretab kabarunet ko Naomi Cherotich. Kitaune logoiwekcho kole kayai tuyet President William Ruto ak laitoriat nebo emetab Netherlands King Willem Alexander ak osotiondenyi Queen Maxima eng State House Nairobi ole kang'alale tuguk cheterter. Alak eng tuguk chekang'alale kandoichotok ko mung'aret nemie eng kwenutab Kenya ak emetab Netherlands eng kwenutab ng'alalutik alak. Kabaurianchi President William Ruto kabaurianchi ak King Willem kandait noton nebo siyet eng kayanchinoshek cheterter chetinye kabatisiet, tourism, renewable energy sectors alak. Yekangobata noto kong'ololchi sirikab logoiwek kandoichoto ole kamwa President Ruto kole boibochin toretet netesetai emetab Netherlands kokochin emoni eng sectors cheterter. Ole kamwa King Willem kole tesetai emetab Netherlands koboisie eng kibagenge ak emetab Kenya asikonyor kelchin biikab emotinwek choto tuwai. Eng tai ko kakikoch King Willem kondit notok nebo mwoktaetab risasinik 21 nan 21 gun salute kotomo koyai tuyet ak President Ruto.
Your Majesty, good morning and welcome to Kenya.
To see you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Finally.
Finally.
Mr. President.
Thank you. It is my honor and privilege to welcome their Majesties, King Willem Alexander and Queen Maxima of Netherlands to Kenya for this historic state visit, the first ever, and thank them most heartily for accepting my invitation. We held discussions to deepen cooperation in agriculture, trade, tourism, climate action, and regional security. We have agreed to enhance people-to-people connections, focusing on education, tourism, and women's empowerment, while aligning our collaboration with global sustainable development goals and Kenya's national priorities. As part of our commitment to deepening this cooperation, we have today signed 3 critical memoranda of understanding and a letter of intent that will translate our discussions into tangible action. We have signed an MOU that establishes a framework for dialogue on trade and investment between Kenya and the Netherlands, creating a joint trade committee to facilitate and foster bilateral trade and investment. This will ensure a more structured, dynamic engagement between our business communities, unlocking new opportunities in key sectors and leveraging on the partnership and the friendship that already exist between the business communities of our 2 countries. We have also signed an MOU renewing our framework for cooperation in agriculture, reinforcing the partnership between Kenya and the Netherlands in agricultural productivity and sustainability. This agreement focuses on priority areas that will enhance food security, technological exchange, and market access. We're building on the
Nato ko President William Ruto eng kibagenge ak laitoriat ak Queen chebo Netherlands. Ko kibendi eng oret noto nebo agenge sikobit kenyoru MP nebo Kiharu Ndindi Nyoro netesetai kong'ololchin sirikab logoiwek mising ko kotinygei ak walet noto nekokiyai eng committees chotok chebo bunge.
I am now doing the projects, both of them together, and by the grace of God, I may graduate this year. I am not talking about myself when I talk about going back to school. It is basically because the motivation of pursuing those 2 actually came out of quest to know better, so that the decision I continued to make are optimal, objective, and especially based on things that then would make our country move forward, especially given the pivotal position which I was serving in. And if you look at this table around here, these 2 shelves is actually classwork. all this you see around here, these are issues around classwork. And I was doing it again, and I'm repeating, because I thought, and I still believe even now, that it is important that even as we serve in our specific capacities, that we continue to also develop ourselves, to sharpen ourselves, so that we can be making more efficient decisions as leaders. So in a nutshell,
Ak yekitestai ak logoiwek ko kiweksei kenyoru MP nebo Kiharu Ndindi Nyoro asikobit kotestai ak ng'alalet.
So that you understand where I'm coming from. And I am sure many of you have covered us before. Sometimes sleeping in these offices. It was also an experience.
Same nyoetab kat eng kaimutyonobo musoknotet makinyoru MP nebo Kiharu Ndindi Nyoro eng oret nekararan. Kobaten no ketesetai ak logoiwek. Ole moche minista nebo tilyandit emotinwekab sang ne kora ko cabinet secretary Musalia Mudavadi kocheng walutiet noto nebo chokchinet kotinygei ak boriet netesetai eng kong'asis nebo emetab Democratic Republic of Congo DRC. Kong'alali eng tuyetab ministers chebo East African Community taonitab Harare eng emetab Zimbabwe komwa Mudavadi kole tesetai kobitu echen eng emonotok bo DRC kole nyoru ketoret eng chengetab kalyet eng chokchinet. Kosubkei ak Mudavadi konyolu eng komoswek chotok chebortos kotonon boriet akoyai ng'alalet asikobit kenyor noto nekata tesetai ak boriosiek.
In our conversations, we have to underscore that the humanitarian toll continues to rise, amplifying calls for urgent regional and international intervention to prevent further suffering and displacement of the vulnerable, especially children, women. For instance, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, estimates that the resurgence of conflict in the province of South Kivu in the eastern DRC has forced more than 700,000 people, nearly half of them children, to flee their homes. More than 1,000 schools have been closed, disrupting the education of over 300,000 students. In Bukavu alone, approximately 19 schools have turned into makeshift shelters for displaced families. Therefore, it is important that we have an immediate ceasefire and that all parties converging at the table for talks are the only potent options to bring sustainable peace in DRC. I want to commend the AU for endorsing the communique of the joint EAC Summit of Heads of States and Government convened on 8 February 2025 in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. The communique of the Extraordinary Summit of the Heads of State and Government of the Southern African Development Community SADC held on 31st January 2025, and the communique of the 24th Extraordinary Summit of the East Africa Community Heads of States on the recent developments in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo held on 29th January 2025. The ministers' meeting is a herald of the Summit of Heads of States and Government, and therefore the ministerial meeting should refine several proposed strategies for onward consideration by the heads of states and government before implementation. In our conversations, we have to underscore that the humanitarian toll continues to rise, amplifying calls for urgent regional and international intervention to prevent further suffering and displacement. I also want to recall the directive by the heads of states and government during the Dar es Salaam joint EAC SADC summit to merge the Luanda and Nairobi processes. And bearing in mind that the Luanda process is also an AU process, emphasize on the need for the joint EAC SADC Secretariat to work together in accelerating the implementation of this directive.
Tesetai benkitab DTB kokochin kanetisiet kwonyik chetinye kakortinwek chotok chebo kasari nebo yaetab mung'aret toret eng kanaptaetab mung'arosiekwak. Kokochi benkinotok kanetisiet chesire 150 cheyae mung'arosiek chotok che mengechen chemiten kibagengeitab Rose Women's Foundation kotinygei ak boisietab muswoknotet nebo yaetab mung'aret kotoret eng tesetab kelunoik chenyoru kobun mung'arosiekwak ole kosubkei ak Head of Sustainability and Communication kitab DTB Maira Dhobani kobo kamanut boisietab muswoknotet nebo social media eng kamartaet nebo mung'aret.
Fear is the first thing you're conditioned with. How do I do this?
Today we are here where we are hosting over 100 women from the Rose Women's Foundation. DTB's partnership with Rose Women Foundation dates back to 2022, where we look at women who are in business, micro businesses from very marginalized communities. And over the years we have been taking them through financial literacy training, where they get to learn on how to manage their business, and it's the basics, you know, how to run a business, how to keep your books, how to budget, how to do marketing for your business. We've also provided mentorship, where we have had DTB employees mentor these women in different business-related topics so that they can get first-hand advice from the women of DTB. Today we are here with the alumni of our programs who have already graduated from the 6-month training period since 2022. And the reason we are doing this is because they have expressed a need to go deeper into the trainings that they have already been provided into different topics. So today our topics have focused on digital literacy, social media, savings and investments plans, where we are making it more tailored to their needs based on the feedback that we received from them, and just taking them through the use of different digital tools to uplift their business, how they can use social media to drive more business, and what kind of investment and savings options that we provide that can help them more in their business solutions. I'm happy to say that our partnership with Rose Women Foundation has been very successful. When we look at the women that we had begun with in 2022 to today in 2025, we have seen women whose income has grown by over 300%. We have seen businesses grow more and more. We have also seen employment increase.
Ilinifundisha kuweka mahesabu yangu, kuweka venye pesa yangu inaingia na ikitoka, ile kitu natumia kwa kazi yangu, nafurahi sana. Walinielimisha sana. Unajua nimejifunza mambo ya kusave kwenye chama. Na kusave unajua ni pesa ngapi. Zamani tulikuwa tunapatia mchara, anatuwekea pesa. Pengine anaweka kwa simu yake zote. Pengine wanaenda wakiwa watatu wanachukuana wanafungua account. So hata venye wataenda watoe pesa hamtajua. Ile kitu mtaletewa mnatoshea naye. Lakini ukiwa na hiyo BB account unajua kwa account ni kuna hii wataleta hii.
Most of the women there are business women, and they're business women who are doing small businesses here and there, and we also wanted to bring forward the importance of not just using the tools but also creating the networks around their businesses so that they can keep going beyond the geographical and any other limitations they may have them, and which is something that they have positively accepted is around the BD Chama application, which basically is a Chama application that allows them to form their Chamas digitally, to track their contributions, to automate their loan disbursement process and the repayment process, which is a very big need for Chamas across the country.
DTB is one of the sponsors that is sponsoring us, especially in Jiru area, and we are really enjoying their sponsorship. And also we are here for trainings about the digital, of which we have learned a lot from these skills about how we can do our businesses through digital space. And for those who came, together with me. We are so excited and we have really enjoyed. And from now henceforth, our business are going not to be the same, because what we have learned here, ours is to go and implement and even put in our businesses so that we take our business to another level, and that is our happiness. I'm so excited. Okay. The fear in us on using the social media or the digital platform, we have been taught that one should be eliminated in us. So I've picked that point, and because of that, I'm going to go and even explore more without any fear.
Ketesetai kokakonde siyet President William Ruto ngatutiet nebo appropriations bill noton nekonu chamchinet nebo keboisie rabisiek chetesotin eng boisionik cheterter chebo serikali cheboto somanet, tililindo, kabatisiet, taketab kiprutoinik ak rindaetab kaimutik chebo kemeut. Kikotabanchi kibagengeitab Teachers Service Commission kokitabanchi rabisiek cheitei silingisiek bilionisiek 18 chekiboisie eng insurance ak promotion nebo konetik. Koisirta bunge ngatutienoto bo appropriations bill eng wikit nekonye asikobit kokon tab ketes rabisiek chekiboisie eng tetutik cheterter chebo serikali chekimakinde budget anan ko chotok chekikarer chepkondok. Ketesetai ko bo kamanut konai akoboisie kabatik musoknotetab kasari neribe itondab emet. Boisionik chotok chebo kabatisiet asikonyor rurutik chemite barak akonyor melekwek chetesotin. Kosubkei kokotet kibagengeitab Avian Farmers Hub eng Kapsoit igorta noton nebo kabartaetab ortinwek cheterter chebo kabatisiet ak mungaret koboto musoknotosiek cheterter chebo kabatisiet asikonyor naet notok nemagat kabatik ngalek chotok chebo kabatisiet ole kinyoru sirindenyo Robert Sele akoindab logoiwechuto.
Kong'ololjin ketishoni en oret ne inegen komwa coordinator nebo Kericho Farmers Agribusiness Rubane Joel Chepkwony kole tokyingei kokimit kabatisietab musoknotet kobun kanetisietab temik.
Kotokyineyon ko kikere ng'alekab kikuren empowerment anan kibore empowering farmers through the use of innovative technology. Yani moe kikimit temik keboisien musoknotetab kasari. Konoton ole tokyinenyon. So kit nekiyoe kimutu temik ak biik tugul chebwone nyokere kit netesetai eng Kipsamamgut Vocational Training Center.
Kosubkei ak Chepkwony kobo kamanut boisietab sukulisiekab musoknotet en kabatisiet nekanaptaat en kokwotinwek. Ng'alalet nekarob eun deputy manager nebo sukulitab Kipsamamgut Polytechnic Simon Ng'eno.
Ng'alekab carpentry, ng'alekab masonry, karon moe kotech temindet ole kiriben teta anan komoe kechob ole kiboen kou ngokaik anan keboen nego, kekere kele kenyoru konunet anan expertise nemiten en Kipsamamgut Vocational Training Center.
So the reason why and amune sikebit ketach the group nebo agribusiness ko amun wanafunzi chekinete en yu ko ngoba outside ko lazima biikab agriculture ngomoe kochob chito asiet nebo teta, ngomoe kochob chito poultry anan kotab ngokenik ko lazima kocheng chitab carpentry. Ngomoe kechob the floor anan kechob ngweny en kotab teta ko lazima komite chitab mason. So ko koikere kele ngepartneren ko karon katar kosit chito en yu anan mwanafunzi komuche ko directen the group kole mite biik anan miten fulani nekitar en Kipsamamgut imuche kochob wakset nebo teta anan kapingok.
Kosubkei ak Charles Tanui neng'amutiotab walet en itondab emet ak boisietab rabisiek en kabatisiet komagat kanetisiet asikikochi kamuget temik nebo koboisien ortinwek cheribe itondab emet, kit nekailos alak en kanetikab Kipsamamgut Polytechnic.
Ako nguni ngebendi tai kotesokse maat en ng'wony tugul. So ko kit nekararan soiti or kit nekimoche ketokyingei nguni ko ketach kou temik ngunon kipsomaninik ak especially chemung'arainik oker ole kakibwan this exhibition nenome kong'eten kosomok kasi ak kastab ang'wan asikiro kele technologies tugul ak kanetusisiek cheng'eten gaa ak cheyobu national level or county or international level keker kele kakiuch ak kotoret temindoni
tugul ke kikinetkei chebo sumek, kikinetkei chebo keng'aran en ngosit ko lazima kora kong'aran olimbo mbar. Nyolu kerib mbar, ketem, kemin ingwek ak kinetech elekimindo bandek.
En departments neoyoe nguni kotoreti mising kora yon iwendi mbar ko kailach dust coat anan ilach overall iyoe boisionikab mbar.
Kamwa rubani Chepkwony kole tetei koroton tetat kotoige en kasitab somok kibagengeit nenaat kou Avion Farmers App en Kapsoit. Kole en kabartanoton kokeni sirindet neo en ministry nebo kabatisiet en emoni Dr. Paul Rono koitetai koroton.
Avion Farmers Hub ko miten Kapsoit Center ako icheket ko dealen ak ng'alekab amitwogikab tuga ak kerichek kora chebo tuga, kikoitoi kou in Boma Roads, kikoitoi kou animal feeds chebunu various animal players chemiten industry niton, kioldoi tuguk chechwaket tugul. Koker kole kaikai konamgei Avion Farmers nekikitou kenyit konye.
Kong'eten county nebo Kericho, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyun ko Robert Siele.
Yekiwekchigei logoiwekchok chebo tai kokait tuyet President William Ruto ak laitoriat nebo emetab Netherlands King Willem Alexander ak osotiandenyi Queen Maxima eng State House Nairobi ole kang'alale tuguk cheterter. Tuguk chekang'alale kandoichoto ko mung'aret, tilyandit nemie eng kwenutab Kenya ak Netherlands ak alak. Kora ko kabaorionji President William Ruto ak King Willem kandeetab siyet eng kanchinosiek cheterter chetinye kabatisiet, rutoiwekab kiprutoinik anan tourism, renewable energy ak sectors alak.
Your Majesty, good morning and welcome to Kenya. To see you again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Finally. Mr. President. Thank you.
It is my honor and privilege to welcome their Majesties, King Willem Alexander and Queen Maxima of Netherlands to Kenya for this historic state visit, the first ever, and thank them most heartily for accepting my invitation. We held discussions to deepen cooperation in agriculture, trade, tourism, climate action, and regional security. We have agreed to enhance people-to-people connections, focusing on education, tourism, and women's empowerment, while aligning our collaboration with global sustainable development goals and Kenya's national priorities. As part of our commitment to deepening this cooperation, we have today signed 3 critical memoranda of understanding and a letter of intent that will translate our discussions into tangible action. We have signed an MOU that establishes a framework for dialogue on trade and investment between Kenya and the Netherlands, creating a joint trade committee to facilitate and foster bilateral trade and investment. This will ensure a more structured, dynamic engagement between our business communities, unlocking new opportunities in key sectors and leveraging on the partnership and the friendship that already exist between the business communities of our 2 countries. We have also signed an MOU renewing our framework for cooperation in agriculture, reinforcing the partnership between Kenya and the Netherlands in agricultural productivity and sustainability. This agreement focuses on priority areas that will enhance food security, technological exchange, and market access. We're building on the already existing framework that was signed last year between Kenya and the EU, and that was ratified both by the EU and the Kenya Parliament. And I have explained to their majesties that it is our intention as Kenya to bring on board the rest of the East African communities as we build a bigger market and bring on board more people. Additionally, we have signed an MOU to strengthen collaboration in tourism sector, aiming to increase the number of Dutch tourists visiting Kenya and enhance Dutch investments in our tourism industry, an area with immense potential for job creation and economic growth.
Our visit reflects the strong and equal relationship that has developed between our countries across a broad range of areas. We work together successfully in many different fields. We believe in the future of Kenya, a future that will be determined by the Kenyan people. With a population whose average age is 20, your country is fortunate that it can rely on the ideas and energies of millions of young citizens. The people of Kenya, like those of the Netherlands, want their rights as free citizens to be respected and their voices to be heard. I'm pleased that our country's strong and mature relationship allows us to devote attention during this visit to issues like human rights, good governance, and accountability. We're grateful to have the opportunity to discuss the concerns that exist in these areas. Later this morning, at the ambassador's residence, we will be meeting young Kenyans to hear their views on recent developments. What opportunities do they see to build a bright future for the country they love? A future in which everyone can participate on an equal footing. Legal certainty has a fundamental role to play in this respect and is also essential for Kenya's economic development. Our visit reflects the full breadth of our partnership and the dialogue between us. We're very much looking forward to the coming days. And this will be a wonderful opportunity, Mr. President, to meet Kenyans from many different backgrounds and to foster even closer ties between our two countries.
Eng logoiwekab urerioshek ko kakomanda timitab Kenya nebo cheptulit nebo Harambee Stars kotokyigei emetab Gambia ole tetat koureren ak timitab Gambia eng qualifiers chebo Cup 2026. Kakon ng'alalet kapten nebo timitab Harambee Stars Michael Olunga komondoi timinoto.
Most of the players we've joined, we've reported to camp, and the mood is quite amazing. Everybody is really looking forward for the first assignments of the year, which is Gabon and Gambia. So we just want to thank the federation, also the new federation, starting with the president, Mr. Hussein, and also our able vice president, McDonald Mariga, for making a good, peaceful environment for the players to come and camp and to perform. We saw also the coach, the new coach, believing in a lot of players. He called up a good number of squad, and yeah, everybody is really looking forward to these two fixtures. We know the group is still open and tough games. First of all, we are going to face Gambia away, and we know they are a team which now is upcoming in Africa, and they also have a good squad. So it's going to be a good encounter to go and showcase our worth. Once again, to thank the federation, first of all, the government of Kenya, also through the Ministry of Sport, for helping us to have Nyayo Stadium ready, to be able to play our first game in 4 years back at home. It will be really looking very forward for this encounter. But first things first, we have to go in Ivory Coast and play Gabon. So we just want to go and give out our level best.
Chitab Kalenjin ako yuto ko kakituch kayumetab logoiwekab emet kakibun kong'ete Kass. Kainenyu ko Chesankaro Sirma, amakun betut nemie. Testai kere Kass TV, kimnatet naet.
Easter happiness all around. with the WRC Safari Rally 2025. Revisha and feel the roar.